guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 home decor Valentine's Day DIYs. They're all really easy and inexpensive to make, and if you're into farmhouse and rustic decor, then I really think that you're going to like these. If you want to see how I made them, then just keep watching. For the first DIY, I'm going to be making framed hearts. I'm going to be using this picture frame from Dollar Tree, some red and white buttons from Hobby Lobby, craft paint. I'm going to be using my hot glue gun and this paper heart to guide me when I need to trace my heart, as well as some designed paper. I've taken my frame apart and I'm going to be using the back side of it so that I can use that as a guide so that I know what size I need to cut my designed paper so that it will fit the frame. Now I'm just cutting my paper to the correct size and making sure that it fits. Then I move on and paint my frames, and I did have to do 3 coats of paint. Now I'm going to be using that paper heart and one of my son's markers to just mark onto the glass where I want my heart to be. You don't have to do this, you can eyeball it yourself if you want, but I thought this way was a lot easier so that I know where I want to place my buttons. Now I'm just laying the buttons onto the glass just to make sure I know where I want to place them, and then once I know where I want to place them, I'm going to be taking the glue and putting it onto the back of the button and then putting it onto the glass. If you're not used to working with hot glue, you might want to wear gloves for this project just because the buttons are so small that it's almost impossible not to get the glue on your fingers, and I did burn myself a few times during this. Decided I wanted to do a second frame, so I'm just using a different design paper and I'm tracing it out. I'm going to be cutting it, making sure it fits to size, and then placing my hearts onto the glass just like I did the last one. But at this time I'm going to be using my paper heart, and I'm actually going to be taping that onto my design paper because I want that to be on the back of the glass. I'm just gluing on my buttons to my glass just like I did in the first one, but when you're gluing on the buttons you want to make sure that you're not using a ton of glue, because when you place it on and push on the button you don't want the glue to like come out all around on the glass, so a little bit of glue goes a long way for this. The second frame, and I'm using an ivory color, and I chose this color because I thought it would go better with the background that I chose to use. Now that the frames are dry, I'm just finishing the project by putting everything back together in the frames. Moving on to DIY number 2, I'm going to be using this wooden heart that I got from the Target dollar spot, this XO stencil, some scissors, home decor paint. I'm also going to be using this paintbrush sponge, some jute, and I did end up using some fake flowers and a small piece of ribbon for this project as well. cut the ribbon hanging piece that they had off because I'm going to be using something else for that, and then I'm just taping on my stencil where I want it, and then I'm going to be just simply painting over my stencil with this beautiful red color. Although I do want to say I used way too much paint when I did this first one and it didn't look very nice, so I had to use a paintbrush to touch it up. So if you're going to be doing this using a stencil, I highly suggest like dipping off the excess paint first before you start pressing it onto the stencil. I did end up using this Be Mine stencil as well, just because I thought I added a little something extra. Of course, you can use any kind of stencil that you want. I'm just going around the heart using the XO stencil wherever I think that it would look nice, and I will say that using less paint has definitely made it look a lot neater. Since I'm really not happy with the way that the first XO turned out, I'm going to be using my jute and wrapping it around that side of the heart multiple times using my hot glue gun just so that it kind of covers up that XO, and then I'm going to be using some ribbon and fake flowers over top of it just to cover it up, and it actually gives it more of a rustic farmhouse vibe, which I really like, and I think it ended up turning out a lot better this way. Next, I'm going to be using my hot glue to glue on this piece of ribbon as well as the flowers that I'm going to be placing over top. Next, I'm cutting the jute the length that I want it to hang, and then I'm just going to be looping it through the holes that are already made in the heart and then tying it off and hot gluing it on the back. For DIY number 3, I'm going to be making a flower tree, and I'm going to be using this styrofoam cone, some wire cutters, and fake flowers. And here I'm just going through the flowers and cutting off the stems, but I'm leaving about an inch so that I can stick it into the styrofoam. Now that my flowers are cut, I'm just taking them and placing them into the styrofoam and arranging them in the color scheme that I want them to be, since I'm using the yellow and the white. This DIY is by far the easiest of the 3, and all of the materials I used in today's video are either from my local craft store, Walmart, or Dollar Tree, and I love that all of these DIYs you can switch up the colors and make it fit your home decor. Enjoyed making these Valentine's Day DIYs and love the way that they turned out. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe before leaving, and don't forget to put on that notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a future video. Thank you so much for watching.